Welcome back. Today we are on lesson 12 of A Course in Miracles, and this is a really big lesson. I'm so excited to dive in as this is a concept that has radically changed my life and my own awareness of my thoughts and the reality I'm creating every single day. So let's get started. Hey, welcome back. My name is Kara Michelle and I'm here to help you live your truth. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on the bell notification so you're notified every day when I upload a new video. And if you find this video helpful as we're working through it, please give it a thumbs up, show your love. So today's lesson is I am upset because I see a meaningless world. And what I think is so powerful about this, I'm upset because I see a meaningless world, is realizing that we are the ones creating the labels. We are the ones who are deciding whether we think something is like good or bad. We're deciding whether we see a frightening world or a sad world or a violent world or an insane world, as it says in the book here. So this lesson makes me think of, years ago when I was younger, and I think the big disaster had just happened in Haiti, maybe, and I was like devastated. I had a lot of trouble dealing with big events and stuff that caused pain because my heart has just always been so big and so open. So I remember we were driving to like a volleyball practice and I was just crying and really upset about how could something like this happen. And this also brought in my questions or doubts around God, because I thought, how could God let something so tragic happen on this planet and hurt so many, kill so many people? And I created a big label at this time of a really harsh world. I started to think, the world is scary, the world is really frightening, there's no rhyme or reason, all these bad things can happen every single day, and it just felt very unfair. And what's so important about this lesson is that it's literally about, once again, the perspective and the perception that we take on or that we create about the world. Because if I, as yesterday's lesson, my meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. If I believe the world is unfair, which again, I started to believe at probably I forget how old I was when that happened, but probably 14 or 15, something around that. And if I started to believe that the world is unfair and I continue to tell that story, I'm going to see an unfair world when I look around. I'm going to see more injustice. I'm going to see more pain. I'm going to see more things that feel unnecessary to me. And so I continue to create this belief around what's possible and what the world really is. And that belief, believing that the world is unfair, is going to affect how I show up. It's going to affect what I believe is possible for myself, right? And it continues to create this narrative that actually isn't serving me in any way. It's really making me feel small and disempowered. Please let me know in the comments if you can relate to this at all, and if this is maybe helping bring up a memory for you where you might have created a label around what you believe in this world or what you believe this world to be, and then you continue to run with it and spiral with that label. So this practice, this exercise, you are going to look around you very slowly, and you're going to just share whatever it is that you're feeling, whatever's coming up for you. So the example is, I think I see a fearful world, a dangerous world, a hostile world, a sad world, a wicked world, a crazy world. You might have positive words come up, like a loving world. I think I see a compassionate world. I think I see an abundant world. There might be good, and there might be bad. So what's important with this is I think it's going to bring a lot of awareness to the duality, and that we can see all things. And what I want to touch on with that is that everything is on the spectrum, and that's what makes That's what makes this lesson so important, because this lesson is helping you to detach from judgment and detach from labels. And we live in a world where we're really attached to what is good versus what is bad. There is no good or bad. It's all one level of the same thing, and it's two extremes. So we're looking at something, same with hot and cold. How do we actually measure what's hot and cold, other than we know it's a temperature, and they're two opposites, they're two extremes. But the duality exists in everything: a wicked world, a beautiful world, a lack-filled world, and an abundant world. Well, the level of abundance, in order to be an abundant world in my mind, is going to be potentially very different from what you would look for in order to classify the world as abundant. Does this make sense? And what I see as wicked, and when I had my own beliefs of like the world being so unfair, well, the only way I could label the world as unfair was that I had my own personal bias or understanding of what I thought fair meant. Because what is unfair? It's just a reflection of the things I don't like, that I don't believe should be there. So if I believe a fair world would mean that there's absolutely no harm ever being done, it's just filled with love and rainbows and abundance and compassion, which, it is my dream world, but is that fair? Or is that a whole other extreme, right? Is fair actually the middle ground between like heaven and hell, or those two dichotomies, right? It's so hard to understand, or so hard to really create that label or create that separation, because everything in the world is really just based on our own perception and what these words mean to us. And I think that's what I'm trying to summarize in this long-winded example in this video, is that if lesson 12 is I'm upset because I see a meaningless world, and you really connect to that and you go, I think I see an unfair world. I think I see a wicked world. I think I see a hateful world. These are all things I know I personally saw and felt for a long time. But now you're also seeing that you're upset because you see a meaningless world. And so that's how you end this exercise is, but I am upset because I see a meaningless world. And so again, just to keep with this example, to make it really relatable, the reason I felt the world was so unfair is because I didn't see meaning in a lot of the things that were going on around. And again, that's not to say that the bad things are meant to be and that they're good. I'm not trying to say that the natural disaster that really broke my heart was actually a good thing, but I was unable to see any kind of meaning in it, so it was meaningless. It served zero purpose. And this is such a weird one. I don't even know if I want to keep talking about it, because I don't want to say anything wrong. I don't want to say anything that isn't exactly explaining what I mean to say. But for instance, even the struggles have meaning, and even the hardships have meaning. When my brother passed away, I could not see any positive meaning in that, nor should I have really seen it at that time. Years later now, I can really go, as much as that was the hardest moment of my life, and I'd do anything to change it, have him back here, I have been able to give meaning to that experience, because I wouldn't actually be where I am right now today had that not happened. I wouldn't have found new levels of strength that I didn't know that I had. There's so much meaning that was created from that hardship. And so there's the opportunity to look at it as a meaningless experience, or to look at this world as a meaningless world. Or there's the opportunity to see those struggles or see those things we consider negative or bad, and realize that they're actually providing a lot of meaning for us in our personal evolution, as well as the evolution of the planet. So with today's lesson, I'm going to wrap this up, my friend. I'm upset because I see a meaningless world. spending some time looking around, bringing forward whatever emotions are coming up for you around the world that you see, whatever you're perceiving, and ending it with that. But I am upset because I see a meaningless world. And again, this might be really difficult at times. This is really going to challenge your ego and your own personal mind and perception right now. And when you're in the thick of some struggles, as I said with me and my brother, there's no way I could look at it and find the positive. Even if I knew that finding a positive would help me, like, I was very closed off. And I was like, there's nothing positive about this. I simply cannot believe that. So if you're in that position right now, this isn't like you have to change your beliefs right this second, but it's allowing you to practice and shift into maybe just becoming more aware of how your own perception and beliefs are going to reflect out into your reality. And how if you're believing the world is wicked and harsh and cold, you're going to continue to see that. And you, I was going to point to myself, you are actually creating a meaningless world by focusing on those things, which also means that you have the power to create a meaningful world by focusing on more positive things that actually lift you up and actually provide the catalyst to move you forward in your life. So I hope this all makes sense. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. If you did, again, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, or feel free to share this video if you think it could help someone you know or you love. And yeah, let's just use this as an opportunity to really create more meaning in our own lives, in our own perspectives of the world, by starting to be aware of the labels we're creating, the judgment or that duality that we may be getting stuck in. So I will see you tomorrow for the next lesson of A Course in Miracles. Bye.